Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Okay, I want to warn you, this hour is going to be a really bizarre show. It's not going to be the greatest audio quality, but I think you should hear it. It goes back 77 years to May 24th, 1945, an episode of Arch Oboler-plays. The episode is entitled An Exercise in Horror, and it stars Peter Lorre. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. This is the 24th day of May, 144th day of the year, 222 days remaining until we get to 2023. And this is your trivia question is, what is the name of the singer-songwriter whose original name was Robert Zimmerman? And think about that for a few moments. We'll tell you about that in a few minutes. Born on this date in 1844, Samuel Morse transmitted the first telegraph message in which he asked, "What hath God wrought?" Of course, he would not be permitted to transmit that message today. The Brooklyn Bridge opened to traffic on this date in 1883. W.T. McCullough of Boston opened the first public garage. One could rent space for selling, storing, and repairing vehicles back in 1899. In 1935, Major League Baseball's first night game played under the lights at Cincinnati's Crosley Field as the hometown Reds defeated Philadelphia 2-1, and the switch for the floodlights thrown by President Roosevelt. On this date in 1958, the United Press and International News Service merged to form United Press International, a service which I was proud to file reports for, record reports for, and yes, use on radio for a number of years until they basically went out of the radio business and just do some internet stuff today. Now, in 1976, the British and French Concords made their first commercial flights. Israeli troops pulled out of Lebanon on this date in 2000, after 18 consecutive years of occupation. House of Representatives approved permanent normal trade relations with China after contentious debate on this date in 2000.
I believe that the administration's policy is fundamentally immoral. And this Congress is ready to ratify a fundamentally immoral policy, a policy that has no morality behind it.
And quite frankly, I don't understand the White House. I'm going to tell it right the way it is. The White House will not wise up until there is a Chinese rocket stuffed right up their assets. They are so dumb on this issue, they could collectively throw themselves at the ground and miss. I don't want to hear any more mumble-jumble about trade. We're getting our clock cleaned. China knows it, and they're taking it all the way to the bank with a smile on their face.
If we end normal trading relations with China, then how do we influence change? The days when the U.S. could act like a bull in a china shop are over. Countries simply go elsewhere if they don't like the sounds that are coming from ours.
Maintaining this strategy of engagement is the wave of the future. We have to recognize that if we are going to do everything that we can to help the people in the United States and the people in China, we must maintain normal trade relations.
And yeah, we've seen how well that worked for us. China not happy about some of the human rights conditions that had been attached by U.S. lawmakers. And of course, those human rights conditions have basically been ignored. Russia and the U.S. signed a temporary strategic arms reduction treaty on this date in 2002.
The deep reductions, which are described in the treaty, take both sides down to in the neighborhood of 1,700 to 2,200. The treaty does not address the numbers of warheads that conceivably would be appropriate for either side. for replacement warheads to deal with technical issues that conceivably could occur. And that is not addressed by the treaty, as it should not be, in my view.
That was Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld. The treaty was in force from June 2003 until February 2011, when it was superseded by the new Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty. Actually, the START Treaty, and I've forgotten what that stands for. Passing away on this date in history, Copernicus, the astronomer, also John Foster Dulles, Secretary of State, Duke Ellington, the wonderful pianist, also Vincent J. McMahon, the father of Vince McMahon, who runs the WWE now, also actor Edward Mulhare, and Rowan and Martin Laughlin's Dick Martin, all passing away on this date in history. This is the birth date of actress Lily Palmer and Julius Caesar. Happy birthday number 84 to Tommy Chong of Cheech and Chong fame. Remember we asked you about Robert Zimmerman earlier? He wrote Blowin' in the Wind. Bob Dylan, born on this date back in 1941. Dylan began his career as a folk singer, influenced pop music with his intelligent lyrics and his folk rock style. Bob Dylan, 81 years old today, and probably just as understandable as he was. I mean, he was good there for a month. They got the old great talent, but yeah, I don't know what it is in the later years. His articulation wasn't there. Radar from MASH, Gary Berghoff, 79. I've seen him on some game shows. He was actually really sharp in that regard. And, of course, you know he got started by being in a Broadway production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. That what brought him to the attention of the people who did MASH. Patti LaBelle, 78 years old. Elvis's ex, Priscilla Presley, 77. Johnny Cash's daughter, Roseanne Cash, is 67. Mad TV's Will Sasso, 47. And country singer Billy Gilman is 34. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 24th day of May as their birthday. If this is your birthday.
Hi. We're the four freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
And from 77 years ago, May 24th, 1945, Arch Oboler-plays on this Tuesday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
The buy one, get one free special going on now at MyPillow. MyPillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance MyPillows, the roll and go anywhere MyPillows, and 6-piece towel sets on special. Go to mypillow.com/USA, use promo code USA, or call 1-800-951-8175 and find out all the great deals you can get right now at MyPillow. mypillow.com/USA. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, 2 quick things that I mentioned earlier, and I want to say them again. Number 1, this is not the most pristine recording we've ever aired, but I think it's important because Arch Oboler working with Peter Lorre, I think it's something that needs to be heard. And number 2, if you scare easily, this is really a lights out, even though it's under the label of Arch Oboler-plays. 77 years ago, May 24th, 1945, An Exercise in Horror, starring Peter Lorre.
Mutual presents Arch Oboler-plays. The Mutual Broadcasting System has the pleasure of presenting the 7th broadcast of a special 26-week series of plays by radio playwright Arch Oboler. In this series, we hope to bring you dramas full of excitement and meaning. The excitement of good stories, and the meaningfulness of plays told in relation to the expanding world in which we live. The play will be introduced by Mr. Peter Lorre.
When I read the announcement that Mr. Oboler was returning to the air over the Mutual Broadcasting System, I was very happy indeed. I sent letters of thanks to Mr. Kobach and Mr. Carlin, Mr. Dunlea, and Mr. Marconi, and everybody else connected with radio, because Mr. Oboler, he writes such wonderful, nice horror stories, and horror stories always make me very happy. But I listened to the first week, and the play was all about our post-war responsibilities. No horror. And I listened to the second week, and the play was all about a gentleman called Vincent van Gogh. No horror. And I listened to the third week, and the fourth week, and the fifth week, and the sixth week. No horror at all. And I said to myself, oh, no, he can't do this to me. So I went to see him, and I said, please, Mr. Oboler, I'm very unhappy. Why don't you write me a nice horror story? And he said,
I'm really very sorry, Mr. Lorre. I'm not going to write a horror play for this series.
Oh, but why? You write such nice horror plays. Oh, I remember the one, you remember about the wife who turned into a cat and ate up the body that was turned inside out, and you could hear everything happening? Oh, and the Chinaman whose head was cut off, and his ghost kept asking, where is my head? Where is my head? And the old man in a cage who made necklaces out of the bones of young girls.
Mr. Lorre, it's no use. It's no use. I'm not going to write a horror play.
But what's the matter? Have you forgotten how to do it? Are you slipping, Mr. Oboler?
Oh, just a minute, Mr. Lorre. If I might say so objectively, if I put my mind to it, I can bring out goosebumps on a bowling ball.
You don't say.
I just did. But I'm not going to write any horror plays for this series.
But why?
I'd rather not say.
Oh. Well, would you mind teaching me how to do it? You know, the tricks of the terror trade, so to speak. I've appeared in so many horror stories. Perhaps if you show me how to do it, I could write to myself, huh? And then Mr. Oboler looked at me with his big green eyes, and he said,
all right, Mr. Lorre, you asked for it. An exercise in horror.
An exercise in horror. A peculiar comedy.
Before we begin, may I post a warning?
This broadcast is not intended for strong-minded children under 12 or weak-minded adults over 21.
First, Mr. Lorre, we'll take up the matter of horror in motion pictures.
Grandeur Pictures presents The Bloody Monster.
It goes something like this.
John.
Huh?
John, wake up.
What's the matter?
Listen. Do you hear?
Oh, it can't be. I shot him. I hung him. I burned him. I drove a stake through his heart.
It's at the door.
No. Go away. You're dead. I'll give back the jewels. Don't come in. Don't. Frankenstein!
Instead, substitute the wolf man or the walking zombie or the invisible man or the divisible man or the reversible man. But it all adds up to the same thing. Goose pimples for 35 cents matinee, 55 cents evening, servicemen in uniform, half rates.
Super Production presents 20 great stars in Ghost Light.
In contrast to our previous low-budgeted horror, this production cost in the neighborhood of $2 million. No monsters are allowed in this picture. The horror is purely schizophrenic and paranoid.
In other words, you mean it's about nuts?
Well, yes. With your assistance, Mr. Lorre, a demonstration.
What do you want of me?
Oh, don't be frightened. You're very beautiful. But I didn't marry you because you were beautiful. It was because of your ear.
My ear?
Don't be frightened. Your ear. Your lovely right ear. Didn't I tell you?
Tell me what?
Don't be frightened. Didn't I tell you when I married you that I have a fetish for ears? Right ears? Don't be frightened. Oh, it would look so beautiful. Your right ear hanging from my watch chain.
Oh, yes. Very definitely. The $2 million notwithstanding, there must always be a scream. So now, Mr. Lorre, you know about horror and motion pictures.
Oh, please, Mr. Oboler, I want to do my horror stories for the radio.
Radio? Oh, that's simple, too. First, there's the horror series that always starts with an opening door.
Somebody really ought to oil that hinge.
This type of radio horror program is the Don't Be Frightened Kiddies, We're Only Fooling School. It goes like this.
My arm! You're breaking my arm! No, don't! My arm! My arm!
And now it's your turn.
No, my head! You're crushing my head! Don't!
Now you, my third victim.
What are you going to do to me?
I'm going to take away your blood. Your blood. All your blood. It's like a little waterfall.
And just at the moment when your stomach begins to ask questions, that voice comes on.
Are you frightened? Are you really, really frightened? Well, I'm not. Why should I be? I'm getting paid for this. And you just wait until you get through the commercial and you hear the next half of the program. Such lovely gore. I'm knee-deep in it in the studio.
Very interesting, but you haven't told me one thing.
What's that?
Why won't you write any more horror stories? The truth, please, Mr. Oboler.
Yes, truth. I can't write any horror plays because some people in recent years have been writing far more potent ones than I can ever do.
Oh, please tell me about these artists.
All right. Without permission of the copyright owners, may I bring you a few scenes from the works of these artists, presented to you without an interruption for commercial or apology or warning or explanation. Here, Mr. Lorre, ladies and gentlemen, is horror such as I could never invent.
More coffee, Vater?
Ja, bitte.
More Kuchen?
Ja. Ach, Mutter, I think I've eaten too much.
I think so, too.
No, Father. You can never eat too much. The fatter he gets, the more beautiful he gets. Isn't that so, Mutter?
I think so, too. Martha, come. The dishes are getting tired on the table.
Mutter, what time does the concert start?
Oh, we have time. It's not until after 8.
Oh, so. Then I will sit here and smoke. Where's Carl?
Oh, some meeting somewhere.
Carl and his meetings.
Did you see his new uniform?
Yes, I saw his uniform.
He looks so straight and thin.
When I was his age, in my uniform, I looked thin, too.
I still like you the way you are.
It's been such a nice Sunday. The park, water, such a wonderful lunch, such a wonderful supper. And now we go to the concert to get pissed off.
The little ducks, Father. Aren't they cute?
Yeah, but they should not let the children tease them so much. Animals should not be molested.
That is right, Father. You should write a letter to the paper.
Already it's written.
Father, with your kind heart.
Well, I'd better go out and see how she's doing with the dishes. Father will be blowing in his handkerchief.
It is music of the heart. There is nothing to be ashamed.
Well, I'd better get started.
Jawohl.
Pater, what's that?
Oh, I don't know. Something in the street. I go look.
Pater, what is it?
Oh, some of the young men of that new, what is the name, Nazi party.
What are they doing?
Oh, having some fun with an old Jew. Hurry, Mutter, get your things. We'll be late for the concert.
Walter, why are you standing there? This is no time to be such a student. Go drink beer.
Ja, Großvater. How is the grandpapa?
Ah, the grandpapa is fine. Are you enjoying the party?
I think I am a little drunk.
Sure, you're drunk. This is a time to be drunk. Excuse me if I can get through. Shh. What is it?
He is sleeping.
Oh, that is very nice.
Your voice, you big bear. Keep it down.
But I am whispering. May I look at him?
You have seen him 1,000 times.
Anna, as you are the grandmother, I am the grandfather.
All right. Come, look. But quiet.
Sticky.
He is beautiful. There's his mama.
Oh, she is out there laughing and dancing. Well, why shouldn't she? Now her son has a name. Heinrich.
It is a good name.
May 24th, 1945, Arch Oboler-Plays, an exercise in horror, starring Peter Lorre. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. We're listening to an episode of Arch Oboler-Plays, an exercise in horror, as it was originally broadcast Thursday, May 24th, 1945. In the newspapers of that Thursday, 77 years ago, these were some of the headlines. The greatest aerial smash of the Pacific War, a fire blitz raid by more than 550 American superfortresses left devastation in new areas of Tokyo's industrial heart. Striking under cover of darkness, wave after wave of B-29s rained 9 million pounds of bombs on prime industrial targets and one of Japan's most important rail shipping centers. As the Superfort attacks mounted, to a new peak of fury. American doughboys and Marines on Okinawa Island registered gains, that despite rain and mud. Leathernecks of the 6th Division threw a regiment against Asado River into the shell and bomb-wrecked capital city of Naha. On the east flank, the 7th Infantry Division enlarged its position south of Yonabaru by capturing 2 more hills. Little resistance as the Yanks completed the occupation of Yonabaru. Fighting on the central Luzon front in the Philippines mounted in violence. Yank airmen hit the Japanese heavily with firebombs in the Manila watershed sector. Other American doughboys far to the south pushed their campaign to split Mindanao Island in 2. The Commerce Department and Reconstruction Finance Corporation, separated by Congress after a bitter struggle, showed signs of working together in unexpected harmony. Secretary of Commerce Henry Wallace said the Reconstruction Finance Corporation has made a step in the right direction toward helping small business. Replying to a reporter's questions, Wallace expressed approval of the new RFC programs of guaranteeing private loans to business firms. He says this will cover part of the needs in the small business field. There may be further needs, he indicated, particularly equity capital obtained by selling stock rather than borrowing from banks. Gasoline rations for A and B motorists will be increased next month. That from the Office of Price Administration and the Petroleum Administration for war. They announced jointly last night a ration will be increased 50% on June 22nd when A16 coupons become valid. The value of each coupon thus will be increased from 4 to 6 gallons. B rations will be increased on June 11 by varying degrees throughout the country. The ceiling allotment in the east is increased by 100% from 325 to 650 miles a month. In the middle west, from 475 to 650 miles per month, and in the far west, from 400 to 650 miles a month. President Truman, in a double-barrel move apparently aimed at achieving greater unity among the Big Three, agreed yesterday to attend the wind-up of the San Francisco World Security Parley and dispatched Harry Hopkins and Joseph E. Davies as special emissaries to Moscow and London. Prime Minister Churchill forced Britain's first general election in 10 years by resigning yesterday as chief of the nation's wartime coalition government in the midst of an old-fashioned slugging political campaign. Those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Thursday, May 24th, 1945. On your radio, Arch Oboler-Plays, an exercise in horror. The conclusion you'll hear next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station on this Tuesday.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
If you've listened to us talk about suspense and air suspense, suspense really got its grit on May 25th, 1943, when Agnes Moorehead did the very first broadcast of Sorry, Wrong Number. We have a pretty good recording of that first broadcast. It was done like 8 times on Suspense, even in the late 1950s. I think it might have been even 1960. But we're going to hear the original episode. It was broadcast 79 years ago, May 25th, 1943, on Wednesday's Classic Radio Theater. Let's wrap up this episode of Arch Oboler-Plays from 77 years ago, May 24th, 1945. An exercise in horror starring Peter Lorre.
Oh, I almost forgot. He sent a present.
Everyone sent present.
No, a special one from little Heinrich's namesake. Yeah. Here's the package.
To Heinrich Brock from Herr Heinrich Himmler.
Open it. Open it.
No, his mama.
She will have plenty to open. You must see it.
Yeah.
Oh, Papa, such a beautiful book.
Yeah. The Triumph of the Right.
Such a gift. Such an honor. Such a godparent.
Yeah, but
what is the matter?
the covering of the book.
Beautiful.
But what
Some kind of skin.
Yes. Look at these marks.
What?
Tattoo.
Oh.
What is the difference?
Yes. What is the difference?
Come, we will show it to Anna. It is her child. Anna, look what a beautiful gift.
So nice. Yeah. When I was a very young man, I wished to become a great violin virtuoso. Well? Yeah. That old Italian, he plays from the heart. Yeah. When the war is over, I think I will come back here. No. I do not like so much sun. I will bring my wife, my children. The young ones will like the green hills. No. Too much sun for me. It must be time for lunch. Italiana, old man.
Yes, signore. Che vale, signore?
What happened to the chicken cacciatore your wife was going to make us today?
Oh, yes, the chicken cacciatore. I gave you my word you were to have a chicken cacciatore, and a chicken cacciatore you'll have.
But we are hungry now.
Signor, when I married my wife 40 years ago, my mama, she said to me, Luigi, no marry this woman. I said, Mama, I know can I hear you. My mama, she said, Luigi, no marry this woman. My mama, she's right. My wife, she's no good. All the morning she chase one chicken and no can I catch. Hey, what's the matter? I said something funny? Senor, you hear it? She catching the chicken cacciatore. He's down your way to your mouth. Hey, I'm
coming. Such a charming, foolish people. Time to them is nothing. Yesterday I asked how old the house was. He said, as old as the church. I asked him how old the church was. He said as old as the house.
Oh, kinder.
He is so proud of this old place. Well, it has its own beauty. And what happened to the music? Senor, will you play for us? It is a day for your music.
Yes, signore.
I laugh at them. We have been billeted here in this village only a month, and it's as if it was forever. I lie here on the grass, the music, the sun. Tomorrow is today, and today is tomorrow, and who cares?
Yeah, Herr Hauptmann, who cares? I don't care, Hauptmann.
Yes, but?
A message, sir, from headquarters.
Headquarters? Give it to me. So, Lieutenant.
Zu Befehl, Herr Hauptmann.
An American armored column is coming up the valley. We are ordered to retire. Assemble your men.
Zu Befehl, Herr Hauptmann.
Lieutenant, wait. Put into execution the general order. All buildings with livestock and property in this valley ought to be destroyed. Everything. We'll start on this house. We are quite through with it. But, Lieutenant, if that old Italiana tries to interfere, burn him too.
Please, Herr Oboler, do not be so angry.
Fool. Angry. Angry. I have every right to be angry. Every right.
But the conditions...
There are no conditions. I ask you one question. Are you a businessman, and is this a business?
There's no argument, Herr
No
Oboler.
argument. That is generous of you. That is magnanimous of you. You stupid fool. You make such mistakes, and you tell me there's no argument?
You should not talk to me so, Herr
I will talk to you as I please. I'm the founder of this business. I'm the majority stockholder. It is my brains, my influence. Yes, my influence and the chancery alone which gives you the bread you eat in your own home. Remember that. Do not forget it.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
So, now we have an understanding. Now I will correct your mistakes. Come.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
Faster. Walk faster. How can we get things done if you crawl along like a tired old woman?
Ja, Herr Oboler.
Wait. Stop. Look at the dirt on this machinery. How can there be efficiency if there is dirt?
But only this morning.
This morning is not now. The product must be absolutely clean.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
All right. Move on.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
Now then, here. Here at this machine is your mistake. You see? If the conveyor belt came from the right instead of the left, you see how obvious it is?
But I thought...
Do not think, I will think. If the metal cans came from this side instead of the other, there would be no difficulty. The finished cans would go on in a straight line. You see?
Jawohl.
All right, come. I will say one thing more. Always you should bear in mind that this great opportunity has been given to us purely on trial. As it has been given to us, so it can be taken away. If we operate properly, efficiently, we will make a fortune. If we are foolish, make foolish mistakes, are non-efficient, dirty, turn out an inferior product, in a short while we are kaput. You understand?
Ja, Herr Oboler. This new labeling machine, as the cans come down the line, this new machine labels two at once.
Most efficient. As you can well understand, this particular project will not last forever. After all, the sources of raw material will not always be there.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
If we have performed this function efficiently, I'm sure the authorities will remember us and reward us accordingly.
Oh, I hope so, Herr Oboler.
Yes. Look at this can. Beautiful product. Most efficient one. What a pity when the material is all used up. I understand that the crematories in western Poland have practically shut down. Yeah. A wonderful product for our German gardens. Of that there is no doubt. There is no better fertilizer than human ashes.
It's getting colder.
Ja, Vater.
Put up your coat collar.
Ja, Vater.
They should at least have sent us back by one of their army trucks. Ah, well, the work will clear our heads. Well, what do you think, Friedrich?
It was terrible, Vater.
Yeah, terrible.
All those bodies and the smell.
Yeah, schrecklich. And only a mile from our own village.
Ja, Vater.
I never thought I would see with my own eyes. But then I never thought many things. That our great Wehrmacht would be beaten. That these Americans would be here, victorious.
Can't we walk faster, Papa?
Yeah. Mutter will have some supper ready. I could use some hot soup. Mutter was so frightened. When the Americans came and said that all we men of the village must go see the camp, she thought they were going to execute us. You did not know that?
No, Father.
Yeah, she told me that. Of course, I told her she was a fool. These are Americans.
But they were very harsh, very stern.
Yeah, good soldiers. Friedrich, you had better not tell Mutter what we saw. After all, she is a woman.
Whatever you say, Father.
Such a terrible thing. So close to our village. Friedrich.
Yeah, Father?
You know what was the most terrible of all?
The body that hung on a hook like...
No. Do not be so young. Don't think of it that way. What you saw, do not think of as human. It was Russian, Polish, that's all. The most terrible thing was that it was not hidden.
What?
Hidden, destroyed, before the Americans got there. No such record should have been left. The body should have been destroyed, the buildings burned. It is the duty of Germans to do things to perfection. Whatever is done, to perfection. Remember that, Friedrich. Always remember that.
Ja, Vater.
Well, Mr. Lorre, that's it. No, one more horror story, and I want you to participate. Yes, you and every man and woman and child listening in. Each of you in his own imagination. And I cast you, Peter Lorre, as the narrator.
Fill the Yankee Stadium in New York with 100,000 people. There isn't room for that many. No matter, jam them in. Jam them in and shut the gates. Let them wait there. Go to Chicago. Take Soldiers Field. Jam another 100,000 into it. Lock the gates on them. Tell them to wait. We'll be back very quickly. Go to the Sugar Bowl down south. Another 100,000 into it. Lock the gates on them. Go to Cleveland Stadium. Lock in another 100,000. Go to Kezar Stadium in San Francisco. Fill that up with another 100,000. And to the Coliseum in Los Angeles. And fill it to the brim with another 100,000 human beings. Now, stand in the center of those stadia. where men have played a game called football, and look around you at the people. 100,000 in Los Angeles, 100,000 in San Francisco, 100,000 in Chicago, Cleveland, in New Orleans, and in New York. Look at them. 600,000 people. Have you ever seen so many? So many people? Some relatives, neighbors, friends, most of them strangers, but people drawing breath as you do, looking down at you and wondering why they are there. I'll tell you why they are there and why you are there. Give a signal. Yes, give a signal. And in New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, all at once, turn machine guns on these people. Kill them. You heard me. Kill them. Kill the people. Stray the bullets around the stadium into the faces of the girls. The old man there, the mother, the young man, and the old man, and the children, and the babies. Listen to the scream, but don't stop. Blast the bullets into them as they tear around in panic. Kill them. Kill them. Never stop until they're all dead. Until their bodies cover all the seats in Soldiers Field, in Yankee Stadium, in Cleveland, in New Orleans, in San Francisco, and Los Angeles, until not a groan is heard, not one finger moves, until a mass of flesh is silent, and the only sound you hear is the rush of their blood as it pours down the cascade of the seats and girdles into the gutters, right to where you stand.
That, then, is my last horror story. But I have not written even that. It was written already. It has happened already. Yes, 600,000. Not in 6 places, but in one. One place where all the gates were closed, and they milled around and died, and blood poured in the gutters, even as I told you. People who had contributed their share to culture and civilization, who worked and then died altogether, and the world let them die. The place, the ghetto of Warsaw. And that is why I can write no more horror for you today. For here is the ultimate of horror. The murderers who held the guns, or who gave the orders, or who merely stood behind and condoned, some of these murderers still live. And there are those who say we must have pity for them. And that is why I can write you no more horror.
You have just heard an exercise in horror, a new play by Arch Oboler. The leading player was Mr. Peter Lorre. Included in the cast with Mr. Lorre were Bruce Elliott, Theodore von Eltz, Will Wright, Bill Christie, George Sorrell, Francis Pascoe, Victor Rodman, Harry Lang, Frank Martin, Winifred Wolfe, Lisa Golm, Jane Morgan, and Bill Shaw. The original musical score was composed and conducted by David Raxon. Sound, Jack Snell with Bill James and Norman Smith. Next week brings you triple feature. 3 new plays by Arch Oboler. 3 comedies in a triple feature. This will be the 8th in a special series of plays written, produced, and directed by Arch Oboler. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Started out as a lighthearted comedy satire and ended up driving home the horrors of war. May 25th, 1945, Arch Oboler-Plays here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you'll thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you. each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. And would you do me a bigger favor? If you miss a day on this station, you know you don't have to miss a show. You can hear our shows on demand on Spotify, on Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now you know why I stress that so much. And also, you can find the shows at my webpage, classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. Thanks for listening. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.